Yo, what is going on, everybody? Today we have Ruas and Joyo versus Venzi and Bryza. This is going to be interesting. So these guys did team for 3 games, according to board chasing, but they lost all 3 games. So I'm going to be interested to have a look at what's going on here. We're going to do this, pretty much all of this replay in Ruas POV, as he gets a nice finish there. Just only 9 seconds in. Now, if you don't know who Ruas is, probably, arguably, the best 1v1 player in the world right at this moment. Known for his brilliance in defense, actually. A very great defensive player, you know. And I always say it's great to watch defensive players because they're just something else. Like even that backwards challenge, it allows recovery. That's something people often misinterpret when they're talking about defensive players. They just think, oh, they're just sitting back, they're making saves, they're really good at saving. No, it's because they actually give themselves multiple challenge attempts with safety. So by doing a backwards challenge there and not actually moving forward, not actually turning and diving, he allows himself to go again. For example, right there, because he didn't turn his nose, he gets a second challenge. You know, this is something no one ever talks about. It's something you can add to your own game. Is if you're trying to challenge people, try and make that challenge as just don't make it all in. So right there, 2 challenges back to back there from Ruas that were he's able to, if it goes wrong, he's able to either stick on the ball or re-challenge, and that is the most important thing when you're talking about defensive players. Because if I'm only able to challenge you once if I dive in fully, and you can challenge me twice, well, guess who's going to have the most success rate if you're looking at defensive stats? So always be, look at that. Now, 2v1 here, this isn't going to end well, most likely. Of course it does, because he's the best goalkeeper. He's the best 1v1 defensive player there is. But actually a risky challenge, and this is interesting. So Ruas has just dove in there. I don't agree with that. In the corner with no boost, and then Joyo also dives in. That's going to be a great one to look over, because as soon as Ruas dove there, I thought, what the heck is he playing at? No boost. And Venzi, now Venzi's play. I've played with Venzi a few times on my stream. He doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. Yes, he can be a little bit toxic, okay, but so can everyone else. I mean, look at Zen. After he lost to Ruas, making up tweets about he didn't sleep for 16 years. At the end of the day, we've all got excuses, and at the end of the day, we're dealing with people who are sometimes a bit fragile. But I will say this: Venzi is a brilliant player. Brilliant distance management and very, very good awareness. I would say his vision is really top tier, very underrated. And that's why he's consistently one of the best ones players in the world. And until you've played against the guy, you don't understand how good his distance management is. So I just thought I'd point that out. Again, left in a 2v1, it's going to be another goal. And these two seem out of sync right now. And it's funny when you look at the Flakes and Zen replay analysis, people saying these guys have got no chemistry. I'd actually argue to say these guys have got worse chemistry. They just don't seem to be clicking in sync at all. A lot of isolation plays come through from mainly from Joyo there. I think there's only been one from Ruas. Well, let's see what carries on here. And again, good speed there from Venzi, looking for the low 50, and Ruas again defensively good. And that little turn on that side flip to the left was massive because it put him goal side at the last possible second. And if he didn't do that, it would have probably been a goal. So again, giving himself a wider line here to give himself time on the challenge to really analyse what's going on with the play. And then stops Venzi before he can take control, although Venzi's sticking on the ball. Joe pushing forward with this. I think he had a flip reset there. Didn't want to waste it. Didn't want to use it and put himself into a deeper, more difficult spot. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this from Ruas because he now has 0 boost. He does have the boost, but they're playing this very much like Freeze right now, in the fact that Ruas is diving into corners, which generally isn't a good thing, unless you're really reading it well. But then the weird part about that is that the second man is doing the exact same before there's been a recovery, which is very bizarre. Normally you wouldn't do that. And we're going to look at why you wouldn't do that when we look at the replay analysis, because there's a reason we don't do these things generally, and because generally they don't end well. And we've sort of seen the proof here. Looking for the ground pinch, although it does throw away the possession here. Does Ruas. Venzi sticking on the ball well. Manages to take on 2 by not throwing it away. Again, like I say, a very underrated player and plays it back. This is good teamwork. Are they in a team, these two? Yes, they are. I was going to say they are clicking really well here. They might play together quite a bit. And that's a great little fake there from Ruaz, trying to get some power on that down the middle. Just not going to be able to do it, though. Benzi looking for the baby hook off the wall. Trying to take on Joyo, who's very aggressive. Very aggressive this whole game, specifically in the corners. Overly aggressive. But again, another isolation play that's put Ruaz under pressure. He has managed to recover. And again, just playing well in the corner here. Not throwing it away. Look at these little wave dash. I love that. And the way these guys shoot is just so satisfying to watch. It just seems like from nowhere they get this insane amount of power onto the backboard. Venzi's going to catch it. Looking for the wave dash demo. Good power from Venzi. Good save from Joyo. This could be dangerous now, though. Again, Joyo. Great defensive play. He basically had to set himself up twice. I'm not sure what Ruaz is doing right now. I just got to be honest, watching this game, we might do another one after, because this seems so out of sync. This is the most disjointed twos players I think we've seen at this level. And maybe, just maybe, it would be good to look at not only the losses, because we've been doing the majority of losses, actually, the most recent games. The last two have been losses that we've done. But also, it'd be nice to see a win from these players. You know, people say, I'd like to see Ruaz play, and then I go, yep, let's watch him get smashed. Maybe isn't the best thing. Maybe we should focus on some of the great things that he does. And I do think that he started the game quite well. It just seems like he's lost any motivation. Again, this is the third game that they lost together in a row. And they only lost. I couldn't find any where they teamed up and they won. I feel that these two stars just do not match well at all. Joyo being more of a freestyling sort of freeze player. Ruaz more of a solid, efficient ones player. Generally, when you go into twos, you can do it two ways. You can be more of a one style of twos or a freeze style of twos. And they just aren't very compatible looking at this. So let's just have a look at these goals. We'll start at the beginning. Okay, so first goal here, it actually comes off a last man versus last man challenge here. Joyo has to jump in this position because of the outward momentum of this boost grab. So if you watch this, here's the boost grab. And then because of the outward momentum, it's going to be really, he has to jump, because if he was to turn and go back to net, he's getting demoed. One of the easiest ways for him to get out of this demo is he's just got to jump over it early. And now he's forced into challenging. And he just does a good job. Now, one of the keys to success for this, even though I'm not a big fan of last man diving, but I want you to look at what Joyo does on the moment of impact with his hitbox. So he goes really, basically, like over the top of it, creating a wall. And that's really good, because now Venzi also does a good job. I mean, they both do a good job. The difference is Joyo has the most momentum into this ball. So when it does come out of a very even 50, it's basically who's the closest to win this. And this is why Joyo took this, because Bryza, one of the risks you take when you go to demo is you do isolate the man on the ball as well. So now if you look at it, if this is 100% even, who's going to win? Well, he can't defend. He can defend, but he can also go on offense. And that's exactly what happens. So that loose ball comes out, and he's just going to be able to put it away. Brilliant play there. Great challenge timing from Joyo. Yeah, it's one of those things, again, you would just have to adapt and say, maybe I shouldn't go for so many demos. Here we go. Joyo pushing forward, going straight into the air, looking for an air dribble into a low 50. Doesn't get it. Goes back into the mid. The boost isn't there. Reloads, gets that boost, puts a shot on. Is that the goal? Puts it across, and then Ruaz with the finish. So let's have a look actually what happened from a defensive position here. So Venzi's had to commit with nothing, and here we go. So are we going to go? I love these. The reason I love these is because it's just an absolute lesson always in following the fundamentals. Last man dives in. In fact, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, this is why I always tell people, if you're going to go, match the height of the ball first. It's why I tell people to do it on walls as well. Because at least you give yourself an opportunity. If you get there in distance and space, but you don't match the height of the ball, you're not good to anyone. Because you're just going to create this big void over the top, which is created here. Really weird. I don't know if his controller died, if I'm being completely honest, because you'd be expecting a jump way earlier than that. All in play there. Benzi had no boost. Again, don't dive in as last man. Okay, let's have a look at this play. Comes into the middle. Now, This is an interesting one, okay? Because Ruas has just dived in. Now, I don't know what his boost is, but you've got to assume generally if he's dove into a corner of the opponents and they've took the boost, he probably isn't best off. He's on 0. Okay, perfect. So, Joyo here may want to consider doing something different. Catching the ball, cutting the ball, laying it off to the left-hand side. Why? Because there is a weak side there. Why would we, if all 3 players are in that corner, why would we play it into that corner? But now we limit our options. Although, that being said, he hits it well, but Bryce is right there. Someone out of all 3 of them is going to stay there. Someone out of all 3 is going to disrupt. We've played it to that area. This is low percentage. This is low percentage. This is something you see all the time, is people just smacking the ball at the opponent's area and going for insane angle shots. If the defender has any ounce of defensive knowledge and vision and awareness, that'll never work. It works a lot, and it works in freeze because, to be honest, freeze, there's a lot that can be improved in freeze. If you look at it little by little, right? When you watch ones, there's 2 players on the pitch, and you look at ones, you go, well, there's still a lot of improvements to be made. Okay, cool. Now, in twos, you have those 2 players plus another 2, so there's even more improvements to be made because now you need everyone to be playing perfectly. When you look at freeze, the most amount of players on the pitch, you imagine how many things can be worked on in Rocket League. But everyone does the same thing. They all do the same thing. Because it's all about pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure. But this is not pressure. This is overcommitting low boost. And I just want to say, this is the bit, I remember seeing this. Venzi, just brilliant here. Sees what's happening. He has no boost. Cuts across. Now, Ruas is, this is just a big commit into the court. It's just such a low percentage. I can't stress that enough. Even if he doesn't hit that, he's not scoring it. Because it's just a low... I don't even get it. So... And then, there it is. It's... I just don't... There's not much to say about that one. Let's have a look. Good fake kickoff. Into the air, Venzi. Off the ceiling. Good job putting the pressure on. Oh, wow. So actually, this was the right thing for Ruas to do. He gets up, he creates the block. Whoa, I've just lagged. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. It was a bit of lag. So yeah, this is the right thing in my opinion for Ruas to do. It would have been cool if he could have hit that and backflipped out of it, but he's just trying to win it outright. So let's have a look at Joyo in this situation. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that is pretty tough. Again, this is sort of the thing when you rush to areas of the pitch if you know there's going to be return fire. Sometimes you do put yourself under pressure, but that was just a pretty... I got to be honest, it was an unfortunate series of events with a great spot here from Bryza. It wasn't even intentional. He may not have known. That may or may not have been intentional. There's not really too much Joyo could have done here apart from once he sees this happen, am I going to beat this player to the ball? No. Okay, let's just chill a second. Okay, we'll go in that one, because we know this guy's landing here, but then again, he could bump us. There's just so many ways that could have been played, and on this timeline, I don't think he had much of an opportunity there. Difficult start for them. Looking for the Spanish, we're seeing more and more of that lately. And let's have a look at Ruas here. Pushing out too far, loses goal side position, and it's a brilliant finish from Bryza here, who jabs it. See, that's the difference. See that little side flip? This is such a good skill to have. When you do these kind of hits, and then you side flip yourself into the position. The side flip is so good at this because it's a lane displacement, and that's why it's so good. Alright, you want to get to this ball, you want to put a shot on. But you can't put a shot on because you're on this lane. Let's just say we're on this lane. And I want to stay supersonic. So what a lot of people do is they come here, they hook around, and by the time they get here, it's either been intercepted or they've lost their speed. By just driving and then just doing a side flip, you're now still in the same direction, still supersonic, and we've just switched our lane. So now we can go into it. This is why I always tell people, use a lot of side flips, use side flips to do this because, again, it just gives you that opportunity. Side flipping to lane change. Think of it like swimming lanes. It gives you a good advantage. Okay, what the hell? Okay, I didn't even see this when I was going. This is so all in. I don't know what these guys were just. It was just so all in. Okay, so let's start this with Joyo. Gets the boost. that is just so hard to do, because it's sort of like, you know, right? Because you've got the boost, you know you can't really afford to do anything on this, because you know he's going to be there. Maybe start moving your way back to the backboard. Maybe look to back each other up. They like to play fat. This is freeze, guys. This is a freeze player, though, you know? So, comes down, and instead now of thinking, well, what's actually happened to that ball? You know, we got to think, what's happened to the ball? Is it safe? In the sense that our teammate's in the air, and he isn't going to be able to put that ball on net. We have no threat. We actually don't have a threat yet, because if this isn't on net, this ball, it usually means this guy can get back, or this guy can stall. Okay, he doesn't have to play how we want him to play. If we get it on net, he has to play how we want him to play, because he has to defend that. That's where demos are potent, because we can use the ball as a weapon. Here, with this ball coming into the corner, it's no longer a weapon, because he doesn't have to worry about this ball. It's no big deal. He could fake that if he wants. So Joyo here going for a demo is a very dangerous play, because he has no clue at all what Bryzer's going to do, because they haven't forced Bryzer to make a play. Bryzer's making a play because he wants to. That's the important part with demos. You have to pin people into spots they don't want to be pinned in, without them knowing that they don't want to be pinned in those spots. Here, they've got nothing. Like, this is such an unnecessary attempt, in my opinion, for a demo, because again, it's just not dangerous. Now we've got a 2v1 because we dove into the corner, and that's going to be over and out. So let's see what Ruas does on the back of this. So he hits it away. I think he just sees Joyo and he's like, oh god. So he starts backing off. It's going to be so hard here, because they could, yeah, I mean, you've just got to always assume you've lost a 2v1. Kick off here. Again, good build up on the kickoff here. And this is just a 50. What I want you to notice, and this is what I've been on about for a while, is the difference between a freeze player, in my eyes, okay, don't hate me, again, Joy, great player, brilliant player, and a ones player. And the difference is, freeze players, generally, because of the meta, or what people consider is the meta, and remember, meta, in the old days, used to stand for most effective technique available. Let me tell you, these people aren't playing the meta, because it ain't the most effective technique available. Now, let's have a look at Venzi. So, they taught him freeze, go mental, just go crazy, dive on everything, whatever. And what happens is, you move your car. Remember we talked about lanes earlier? See that lane change? Because he does a side flip, or actually that's a speed flip, he's changed lanes. Not as abruptly as a side flip, but he still changed lanes. He was on this lane. Okay, we can see here, he was going on this lane. And with the side flip now, he's on this lane. The problem is, why would you want to switch lanes if you're on the ball? Okay, we don't want to switch lanes. We want to stay directly behind the ball. So what Venzi does so well here, when it plays at 10%, is he just sits behind the ball. Because he doesn't want to move. Because he's on the right lane. And by playing slower, and the myth of Rocket League, you got to be fast. By playing slower here, dunk, that's GG. So it's interesting to note the difference in styles. A ones player, you get most ones players, they're going to do any ones player is going to probably do what Venzi did. Maybe they turn to the side. Maybe they do a delayed dodge, depending on what they need. Where you take a typical freeze player, it's very erratic. Let's look at this one. I remember seeing this at the time and I thought, what the heck? Very all in here. You know, this is very interesting because Venzi, again, this is what I'm saying with Venzi. He's so good at this stuff. Like, it's so underrated. Look out, first of all, his distance management. Really close to the ball. Sees Ruas the whole time. And then just literally... Now, this is what I'm talking about. So this is one's plays for you. So, notice the difference in notice how Venzi, from earlier when we watched Joyo with the 50, notice he jumps off first, creates, like, on the contact... Then he'll do his flip. And also note how Ruas, again, another ones player, it's just interesting to note this, how much more safe they play. He doesn't actually flip into it. So they're always trying to be as sensible as possible ones players. However, this is a heavy commit. And then he's trying... The thing is, this commit wasn't too crazy because, kind of like what we said about his defense, being able to, defend twice, he's technically given himself a way to attack again. So he comes down, he gets the boost, he goes for a demo, or he speed flips that. Joyo here, again, it's just this, I don't know what it is with, in my opinion, again, I'm not hating the guy, a brilliant player, but all the players are in that corner. What do we have to gain by throwing ourselves into that corner? As last man especially. It's just a very heavy commit. And it's that whole thing of gotta be fast. And it just creates, to be honest, the faster these players play, a lot of the time, although they do cover more area, they also create a lot more gaps. And I got something that I'm going to go over in another video actually to show the extreme way I can how the meta is ruining your play. So there we go. And in it goes. Okay, so here we go. Last goal here. Okay, so Joyo again, he's very aggressive. And if Venzi wins this, it would be another goal for them. But he's going to take that risk because they are down. So Ruaz has to win this 50. And again, look at the 50 from Ruaz. Main ones players. Again, you'll see also from Venzi. Main ones players. He doesn't jump. He just does a single jump. Sorry, he does jump. He just does a single jump is what I meant to say. He doesn't commit. Okay, even Venzi here, although this is a little bit risky, it's still relatively a safe play, relatively. What happens actually is Joyo grabs this boost, comes round, and it's just it just falls. You know, sometimes they say the chips may fall as they land or whatever the hell the saying is, but that's what's happened here. There was a lot of fortunateness in that. It wasn't super calculated as it appears. It was just a run-of-the-mill play. Let's have a look at Bryza here. I mean, there's not much he could really have done differently in that situation. That all came down to whoever won that 50. Whoever wins that 50 is scoring. It was risky. But let's get one where they win. Let's get a winning one here. And here we go. We've got a win for these guys. Spoiler alert. Ruaz and T7LM versus MJ and Rise Fox. Chamon. Alright, good little arrow pass there. Nice little pop and good demo attempts. Again, that's a safer demo attempt. Why? Because we knew our teammates pulling it towards net. Therefore, we can make the defender do what we want. Inside to outside challenge. No wonder he wins it. Because that's fundamental. Okay, just waiting back here, grabbing some pads. Very all in play there from Fox. Could have worked out though. Could have worked out. But, and the reason that's safer is he had a lot more boost going into that. You can just tell by the way, you know, the map spaced. And there was more space in the map. Good little fakes there from Raz, and that's actually going to do it. The pressure of the fake jump, again, always giving him a way out. If he jumps and the player misses, okay, I land and I score. If he's successful, I land and I turn and I save. You know, it's all about that. That was really good recognition there from T7 to not like leave that boost and try and fight him for the back boost. That's something that happens so often. The person closest to that mid boost should just take it. Again, Ruaz, unfortunate miss on the open net there, but putting heavy pressure onto the backboard as he grabs the mid boost as well. Remember that they say, the man who controls the mid boost, the players who control the mid boost, I should say, control the game up into the air. Just trying to use a flip late on that to move it as far forward as possible out of the defensive area. Again, heavy commit into the corner from Rise Fox. And he does turn the ball over, although he's going to hit it back to him. And purely because there was a little bit of a collision with the teammate here. Good challenge in the air, inside to outside again. And Royce Fox going for a low percentage play. They look great in the highlight reels, don't they? They look great in the highlight reels. But when you don't hit them, they don't look so good. And it's just one of those things, you know, people say, well, you got to try them to get them. Yeah, I suppose you have got to try them to get them. But will anyone really be able to do that 100% of the time? I don't know. Maybe they will one day. Maybe they will. Looking for boost here is Ruaz. Couldn't get a scrap, and that's already another goal. And that is the forfeit. We're going to look at this one. It was a shorter one there, just because of the time of the first one, guys. But again, like you guys, I didn't watch it before it happened. So let's actually look at this defending here. Very too far forward. So this is that whole thing of, you know, your rotation patterns, and if you don't get it right, if you just miss it, it's going to be really hard to get back into the game. Rise Fox here just pushing too far forward. This is why I prefer a deeper rotation, because yes, okay, it's that whole thing. If MJ's successful here, we can push, but if he's not, well, we are screwed. So that's the calculations that have to be made. Am I going to be screwed if I commit? And if the answer's no, well, then you can commit. But if the answer's yes, then you can't commit as much. It's pretty unfortunate, not going to lie. But it just shows you, again, just the simplicity of the game sometimes. So first of all, we got this from MJ. So MJ comes back here, hits onto the backboard, comes up, and looks for a flip reset into another double flip reset. And this is exactly what you should do. So he's not T7, doesn't allow this to get out of hand. He comes across, and what I really like about this is the way he turns his hitbox. This is actually really nice. So he comes up, and he just basically turns his car on the air rolls. Very good read. And basically what he's done here is expertly. He's basically put a wall up. He's really well done. So now that can't penetrate through. And let's just look at that again. And the other great thing about this is because he's done it to the outside. Now, if you were air dribbling, you'd probably want this into the inside because you want to be able to control them and stop them getting in. But by doing it to the outside here, I'm imagining, yeah, you can boost down and grab the boost. I mean, it's very well done here. And oh yeah, this was this play. So let's have a look at this from Fox's perspective. First of all, he's pushing up a lot because he's expecting, this to be on net, this to cause difficulty. The problem is, okay, let's say this is on net, all right? If we're this close, are we going to get anything off the back of it? Could they shoot over our heads? Would it be more beneficial to maybe wait here? Do you know? And then, if it goes well, we might do something, maybe a fake, and then we can play into the corner. But this just seems, anyway, I mean, that is up for interpretation. This stuff, though, it's just one of those things where when you watch it, you think, are you trying to win? Or are you just free playing? You know what I mean? Are you just messing around? Because why not just play it into the corner, grab the 100 boost, look for something? You could still go for some highlight reel stuff that's a bit safer. I mean, these sort of things do cause that sort of effect, and these guys are in a team. Okay, so here we go off the kickoff. Quick goal again. Early challenge there from Rice Fox. He's got the boost. He's now going onto the backboard. MJ just couldn't hit him, and that's just going to be opening. Is that it? No, MJ just played to the side. Rice Fox grabs back again. Is he pushing forward again too early? Is this deja vu? I think it is. This guy's pushing forward a lot. I mean, right here, we don't know the outcome of this. This could be a position we get screwed up in. Give it a second. Okay, now can we go? And go upwards and maybe put some sort of hover block it. I know you want to get to the zone quick, and the backboard isn't bad at all. But right here, what's to say? I mean, this could legitimately be a goal. What if he taps this into the sky, okay, doesn't flip, and then just goes bing and a ceiling pinch? We're able to be shot by. If you're able to be shot behind, your positioning isn't fundamentally solid. All right, don't make me pull up that goal from the World Championship. I mean, if I'm going to pull up this goal from the World Championship, because everyone does this, and I don't think people realize how extreme this is. People go, yeah, but it's alright. It's really a big deal because you're letting in goals you don't have to let in. Here it is. This is the replay from the grand finals, the grand finals of the last RLCS. So I just want you to watch over here. Hopefully you can see my mouse. Obviously the quality is not great, but there's a movement. There we go. So right here, Atomic can be shot behind because they're pushing forward as the last man. So what happens is you open up this gap. I don't know, I've probably shown this before, but it's just always worth re-showing. There is a gap here, and now, because he realizes that, he's stuck. He can't backpedal fast enough, and he also can't drift fast enough. If you watch it again on the replay, you can just see that, is this necessary? Should this happen? Imagine he turns deep in net now. Do you know what I mean? It's that pushing forward. I get everyone's trying to put pressure on the ball. I get it, okay? But at a cost of easy to save goals, I don't know. I think we could rethink a few things. But anyway, there we go. Great stuff from these games here. And yeah, again, big shout out to all these players. They're all amazing. Big shout out to you guys for suggesting Ruaz. I do appreciate it. I really do. And hopefully that helps. Hopefully there were some things there that, again, you're going to see this a lot. And hopefully it will help you with your own gameplay and your own replay analysis to see that I'm generally pointing out the same kind of things each time. When there's an overcommit, when there's a dive into the corner, when we're playing dangerously with low boost, when we're going for flashy things, it usually ends bad. it usually ends bad. This is the highest level. And it's all, you know what I mean? It's not like we've seen something and gone, wow, I mean, that works well. No, I get you have to mix it up, but there's a lot that can be worked on in this game. That's the beauty of it. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate it. Look after yourself, and peace out. Peace, peace.